That's true, surely.
My name's Phil, not Shirley.
You're watching the Glencoe-Radvac YouTube channel. This is part 2 of installing a subfloor depressurization system in a house. In part 1 we explained the purpose of this and we marked out the floor for digging. We then excavated the concrete exposing the blue membrane. If you haven't seen part 1, I recommend going to watch that first and then come back to here. Thanks very much and enjoy this video. First little issue. Here's a pipe right here. It's a plastic pipe. That is the last bit of trench work which goes to this final sump. I'm pretty far in this side. How far are you in? I don't think we're far away from each other, you know. Luckily this is pretty soft, but we do have the odd rock and brick sometimes. It's just like a random brick. Can't feel your shovel yet. Oh, there we are. We are through. Right, let's have a look. Oh, it's beautiful. We've gone below that pipe, left it completely untouched. Now all the trench work is done, I'm digging the back of the sump and tunnelling under the wall leading towards the lounge. I'm more than happy with the distance of the tunnel, so now it's time to start piping up and putting the sump in. Just in case you were wondering the depth of the hole, from the bottom of the hole to the damp-proof membrane, it is 29 inches. I'm now putting our very own Glencoe-Radvac full-size sump into the ground, and I've used the tape measure to see how long the breech pipe is to go underneath the living room. Because our Radon sump is made of polyethylene plastic, we cannot use solvent cement with our PVC pipe work. So we insert the pipes at least 4 inches to stop them falling out. To pipe from the sump to the trench, we loosely put a 45-degree bend on and measure back to the sump. We apply solvent cement to the pipe and the sockets to make sure there's no leaks. We want to make sure that if there's any moisture in the system, it always runs back to the sumps. That can be easily done by simply wedging the pipe. Here, I've used an old piece of concrete, and that's done. Because we had to dig down and tunnel under that drain, we now need to solvent weld a 45-degree bend on to run horizontally along the trench. Now obviously because the trenches are only a certain length, we need to use joiners to connect the pipe along.
Well, now the sump's in position, we're looking to put some clean stone all the way around the peripheral. That will get covered in a radon barrier at the low level, and then we'll fill it in with soil all the way up to here, where we can put another barrier and dress it into the membrane.
Whoa, so I forgot to film putting in that first barrier, but there it is. So this sump is fully backfilled up to this existing barrier. We've exposed it so we can seal our new barrier to it. So we want to make sure that we're pushing this right underneath the concrete so there's no gaps underneath. So a final look of the floor before the barrier has been put back in. We've chopped away at the side to make sure that we can see the existing barrier. We've also done the same along this trench. This central sump is now all piped in nicely, and you can see the barrier nice and clean. This trench is also ready for the barrier to go in. Just got to clean the edges a little bit. And this final sump is being backfilled right now. Our radon pipe is secured to the wall, but 2 brackets here. We're going to adjust the pipework here to go into the bottom of our radon fan, which will be situated around this area. So unfortunately I got called over to another site, so I wasn't able to film the barrier going in. All right, now that this place is tidied up and vacuumed, we are ready to move on to the next step. And that is brushing around the edges of the pit with a mix of PVA and water. This will help bind the new concrete to the existing concrete. This existing concrete is so dry that we're going to need a few coats of this. Earlier we vacuumed the edges of the pit. It gets all the dust out of the way and we can just paint the sides easily. Now that the pits were prepped, it was time to pour in the concrete. So we mixed this concrete as a 4:1 ratio. As the screed was so dry, we kept applying the PVA as and when we needed to. A very simple, easy tip when you're concreting is to wipe anything down when it's still wet. We're now on to the final sump. Please leave a like and a comment if you'd like to see a video of us explaining more in detail how we mix and lay the concrete. So now that the concrete is in, the next step is to core drill through this wall for our exhaust pipe. We're going to be core drilling from inside the cupboard under the stairs out through this external wall. You have a concrete block, a cavity, and then a very thick stone wall. As you can see, the ground rises towards the back of the house. We will be coming out around this sort of area. Let me just stop you there, Dan. You are way off. It's about 8 foot to the right. Bit of a tight squeeze in here. So what we've got here then is our core drilling rig. It's bolted onto the wall, and that will keep our core drill in position, stop it going up or down, left or right. We have these copper pipes that we've been very, very careful to stay away from. It's a water-fed drill with diamond tipped teeth at the end of the core. We're probably going to have to put a few extensions on this because of the thickness of the wall. We can only go in this far at a time. Once we go in there, we've got to bring it back and empty the core, put the extension on and go again until we're outside. Right, the second extension is now on. We think we've got about 10 inches left to go and we should be through to the outside then. Here's our concrete block. They made a 2-inch cavity and then granite. This is the first piece of core that broke off and we pulled it out. Now let's get the rest.
So we actually had about 20 minutes of footage core drilling through this wall, which I've obviously trimmed right down. But if you would like to see a full core drilling video, then leave a like and comment below and I'm sure we can make that happen. For those wondering, the length of the hole was 830 millimeters. So now it's time to mount the radon fan, so I loosely put the 45-degree bends on. Using the Jubilee clip, I secure a rubber joiner to the bottom spigot of our radon fan. We've also glued together two 45s and a short piece of pipe. I'm now putting brackets for the fan on the wall. I use those glued 45s to show me where the fan's going to be sat. Sometimes it's a great idea to use a pencil to mark where you want it to be glued in position.
Perfect. Okay, now I slot the VPF S2 fan onto the radon pipe and secure the Jubilee clip. Next we slide the extraction pipe through the core drilled hole and glue on some more 45-degree bends. We also glue in a short piece of pipe and insert it into the extraction point of the fan. Once again we secure the Jubilee clip. Now if there's any moisture in the system at all, it will all run back into the ground, and this has a fall all the way to the outside, so we don't need a condensation trap on this fan. That's it for part 2. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel so you can see part 3 when it's released. We will see you over there. Thanks.